Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about the best heroes of the patch 7.39. Usually for the second video of the patch, I typically make like a fun builds video. I go over the most interesting builds. However, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. In today's video, we're going to be just kind of discussing the win rate changes, the highest win rate heroes, the heroes that were most buffed of the patch, and really just kind of focus on the numbers. Because the reality is, guys, this is what I do, especially even for my pro team. I look at the win rates, I say, what really improved? And I'll also specifically look at like, do I play these heroes? Should I even care about the win rate? And so on and so forth. And so let's break it down. Let's talk about what is the best items of the patch, the best heroes of the patch, kind of just everything you need to know about 7.39 and what is good. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. We're gonna be first starting with the change percentages, and then we'll move towards Bat Rider's the lowest win rate hero. And then we're going to move to the highest win rate heroes overall. But yeah, let's start with the most improved heroes of the patch. First off, we have Veno. It's funny, they removed the technical Veno jungle, or like the plague carrier Veno. But now Veno wards give less bounty when killed, are tankier, and deal more damage with the plague carrier facet. On top of that, if you gale someone with it, it creates 2 plague wards. Another thing to keep in mind is Veno is a universal hero, and now Vessel, one of the most buffed items kind of the last few patches, it was buffed this patch with cost and build-up. It builds up from a circlet now, which is incredible, instead of a fluffy hat, especially for universal cores like Veno, and it builds from diadem instead of vitality boosters. So this item just gives a lot of stats, which means it's way better for right clicks and just your overall stats rather than only your HP. So it gives you a mana pool, it's cheaper. This item is just, in my opinion, broken. You guys know I loved the last patch, and it's really a huge reason why Veno was here. On top of that, as I mentioned, the facet is very, very strong. So yeah, he's actually the most improved hero of the patch. I think primarily it's because of Vessel, but this new facet change of the plague wards giving a very low amount of gold and being harder to kill and doing more damage because they have septic shock built in now is actually really, really good, and it farms really, really fast. So it's not a jungle Veno, but offlane Veno is something worth trying. All right, next up we have Muerta. I played with a Muerta. I played with almost all of these top heroes in my pubs, almost all of them, so I can talk about them all. The Veno was an offlaner. The Muerta is a carry. This hero is an insane carry with her new facet. So her new facet is called Quick Draw. It makes it where Deadshot fears increase gunslinger chance. So when you hit your Q, it makes your E chance go up by a lot. It makes it go up by 50% for 5 seconds. So it goes from a 45% chance to a 67.5% chance. It is a massive increase. On top of that, gunslinger procs reduce Deadshot cooldown. You can imagine why this is pretty broken. Deadshot makes you gunslinger more often, and gunslinger makes you Deadshot more often. And so the two just literally make each other go insane. And so this hero is just proccing her E and shooting dead shots like crazy as a carry. On top of that, it just works when you're farming. And so this hero just farms faster. So yeah, I think Muerta carry is just straight up insane this patch. I think as people figure it out and get better and figure out the combos, it's going to be a nasty hero for this patch. So keep your eyes out for Muerta carry. This 3.6% chance is not even probably an optimized version of this quick draw. My guess is that this is going to improve more to a 4% or 4.3%, somewhere around there as people really begin to figure it out. Chen just got a lot of nice buffs. He got like damage, his creeps got damage, his E got buffed. Basically, I wouldn't recommend just playing Chen if you're looking for a broken 5 of the patch. He's still 46%, which is not surprising. It's just the least picked hero in Dota and very, very hard, but yeah, he got buff hard. Axe. So Axe got a lot of nice changes this patch, actually. Notably, they buffed the callout facet, which I think is pretty comparable to the other one. I think both of his facets are fine, but he got some really nice changes as well. So number one, Battle Hunger, the movement speed slow was increased from 15 to 18 at level 1, which actually does matter. 3% movement speed in the early game is gonna get you kills. On top of that, Counter Helix was buffed. And another thing I would like to mention, this is kind of one thing I would really like to stress. So this callout facet is, it basically makes it where you give the enemy bonus attack speed when they hit you, right? When you call them, sorry. So you make them hit faster. And now this item is just in the game. How do I look up Chipped Vest? Okay, I can't look it up. But the new item Chipped Vest is insanely broken on Axe, like unbelievably broken on Axe. So It's just a tier 1 neutral item. Every time you're attacked, you return 30 damage and 20 to creeps. It's just like, this item on heroes like Legion and Axe, especially Axe, is just so absurdly overpowered, especially with the facet that makes them hit you more often. I mean, just insane. And you might be like, oh, but you don't get it every game. Yeah, you don't, but you frequently will. It's not that low % of a chance. There's not that many tier 1 neutral items, right? And you get the option between 4 of them. So if you happen to get Chip Vest on Axe, it just becomes one of the best heroes in the game. It's good without it. It's definitely good without it, but especially when you get it, like, my gosh. Next up is Legion Commander, kind of the same thing. This hero, however, similar to Axe, also got some kind of just like small, nice buffs that made the hero way better. And really it comes down to the fact that you have this outfight them innate being far better. Basically, it increases your healing by 30% at level 1 duel. Now, if the hero is the same level as you. So last patch, how this innate works is if you were hitting someone that was higher level than you would heal more. Now, if they're the same level, you heal more. And what this means is in the laning stage, your Tangos, your Fairy Fire, your E, your W, every source of healing in the early game is just amped by 30% when you're fighting the enemy. And this matters a lot. And it matters all throughout the game. Very frequently, you're the same level as your enemy in Dota. It's just kind of normal, especially in the early game. So yeah, Chipped Vest and those buffs are actually very significant. I expect Legion to become more popular. I think Axe and Legion are overlooked by pros right now, and I really believe that. Okay, next up we have Doom. Actually, I kind of thought that Doom got nerfed. They buffed the Axe, which is like funny, but they nerfed a very important part of Devil's Bargain. Maybe people are like, you know, it's funny, when changes like this happen, it's hard to read. I honestly don't exactly understand. I feel like people are probably trying the Axe, and maybe the 50 radius increase to the Axe is enough to justify it. Also, if you pair that with like the impending Doom facet, this hero's late game is straight up broken if you get there. So yeah, perhaps this one I'm not going to claim. Like, these two are a bit more obvious to me. I'm actually a little bit unsure about this one. Leshrac, I saw this one in my pubs. It's actually pretty cool what people are doing, so I want to cover that change. Basically, no longer improves with Pulse Nova levels. Damage is mana restored, scaled from 14, 21, 28, 35 to flat 25. Guys, in the laning stage, your damage, so what Chronoptic Nourishment is when Lesh does damage, with his auto attacks, he gets mana back. And so what the Leshes are doing now is, well, you're first of all clicking a lot, but they're actually buying treads. So you just auto attack a lot and you just get a lot of mana back, right? Lesh's attacks restore mana. It's a lot, and it's only a 50% penalty against creeps. So in the laning stage, like, just auto attack the wave. And so basically you just spam nuke, auto attack, and you just fight a lot. And then your W works on buildings, which is kind of the interesting thing about like not taking misanthropy. You actually get to kill buildings with your W, which, yeah, believe it or not, is great when you can nearly one-shot tier 1. So Leshrac, pretty damn cool. Also for Leshrac, something to keep in mind is like Bloodstone got buffed by a little bit. Eternal Shroud, which like sometimes Lesh buys, got buffed. Next up we have Omniknight. This one's not too shocking. Basically the hero's E doesn't cost mana. So essentially like you're just spamming your E on people. And it's actually something I want to put in tomorrow's video. But what people are doing now is they're buying Radiance on this hero. I'm also seeing it played as a sup, so it's being played in both ways. Your E, you just kind of skill it up at level 1, and it's huge because not only does it not cost mana, it also slows the enemy by 75% for only 0.2 seconds, but it matters. It really allows you to close the gap for your innate, which is when you're near people, you amp your damage against them. It's pretty cool. And it also increases the attack range by 75 for the hit. So this ability is just like 40 times better. And for core Omniknight, it's huge. Let me tell you, it is massive. So I really prefer core Omniknight for how good it is. I think Radiance is the best build. But even for Sup Omniknight as a trading spell at level 2 is really great. So yeah, not too shocking to me that Omniknight has seen a major rise in win rate. Earth Spirit did not get touched this patch, but I actually think it mainly comes down to Vessel. This is a universal hero that wants to buy Vessel. The item is way better now and benefits universal heroes. And so I actually think a 2.5% increase is not shocking. And I actually think that you can factor in that like 2.5% into this like 3.9. You know what I mean? I really do see it like that. Lina got a big buff this patch. Basically they buffed her innate very, very hard. PL, almost at 50% win rate. I still think, by the way, Lina, don't play the hero. Every other hero, I would say you can try. Doom and Chen are the only ones below 40 that have this significant of an increase win. PL, I thought that this hero would be slightly better than 2.4% increase. They gave him this really interesting ags that makes you like dash super far and create illusions when you dash through things. I think the big thing is that when people figure out the build, and I'll probably report to you guys on this, when people figure out what the build is on this hero, I expect it to actually go up more in win rate. I think the main thing people are probably doing wrong is maybe the ags rush isn't great. Yes, it spawns illusions when you run through creep waves and creep camps, but I don't think it's good enough. As a result, yeah, it's not above 50 yet. Mars got a pretty big buff this patch. So basically, if enemies are outnumbering him, this is what his innate is. If he's outnumbered in a 700 radius, essentially he'll get extra HP regen. And the radius decreasing from 900 to 700 might seem like a nerf, but actually what ends up happening a lot of the time is it counts your heroes too, right? So like, let's say your pos 4 is 800 units away, it won't count them. And that means that you'll actually get the extra regen, right? So this radius decrease actually frequently benefits the Mars because again, it counts as allies. You want to be outnumbered. You want 2 to 1, right? So funny enough, it actually matters a lot. On top of that, they gave him the really interesting Dauntless regen per enemy, which I imagine a lot of people are taking. And so it must be decent because the hero went up quite a bit in win rate. Magnus went up 2% win rate, which is kind of weird to me because really, I mean, his Q literally got nerfed. The only thing that got buffed is the shard, which, I mean, it got buffed significantly. Maybe it's actually good. I don't know. Shadow Fiend, not surprising. They made his facet better, way better. The one that slows with Shadow Rays is just so much better. It's actually playable again. And his Feast of Souls gives movement speed. Undying with a 2.24% win rate increase, which is pretty significant because, I mean, the hero already had a good win rate. And honestly, I mean, he got 2 damage. I guess 2 damage just kind of is it. On top of that, when you max out Soul Rip, it is quite a bit better of a spell. This extra 5 damage really does matter. It does add up. So, yeah, I would keep your eyes out for Undying. Miro also just played it off lane, actually. He did better than I think he honestly should have. I think some things went weird in that game. But Undying Core is really interesting, and I might also cover that tomorrow. Next up, we have Viper. He just got mana improvement to his Q. This hero's like a little bit better. Pugna got a 2% win rate increase, and this one makes a lot of sense to me. The big thing I'd say about Pugna is that last patch, Decrep's cast range was 475 at level 1, right? Which was just completely unusable. It was so bad. This extra 75 cast range makes the world of difference. It is so noticeable with just casting your ult from a good range, from saving people at the right time. It is so noticeable. And it also just kind of means that you can afford to max out your E with your siphoning ward facet, which is what you should be taking. So yeah, huge fan of this Pugna buff. It makes a big difference. Centaur got a pretty significant buff here to his double edge facet. Basically now when you take damage from creeps, it increases the damage on double edge, so you can farm very quickly with your W, and so it's a pretty cool way to play the hero. Next up, we have Sven, who went up 2%, and I'm going to keep it a stack. I actually do not know why. If you know why, you can put it down in the comments. Then we have Lich, who, it's actually crazy how many heroes went up in win rate this patch. Actually, so many. A lot of buffs this patch. But yeah, Lich, he got this new facet. I actually wrote it off when I initially was reading the patch. I mean, they did buff some other things as well, like Sinister Gaze, mana drain per second just went up, so like, you just drain more mana, which is actually really, really nice. Chain Frost, now the orb lingers for 2 seconds if there's no current targets. So like, you just get that linger effect. It used to be the facet, right? Now it's just part of the hero, which is actually really, really nice. Bounces can now damage and slow Roshan. Okay, that one's basically pointless. So yeah, I mean, like, this is actually just a really good buff. This is actually just a huge buff, which I kind of overlooked. I'm going to keep it a stack. They removed the Frostbound facet, but like, as I said, they sort of just gave it to the hero. Obviously, it's a nerfed version of it, but not bad. And honestly, Evil Eye, it just gives you damage, and it amplifies received movement slows by 50%. So like, it really helps you slow people. So perhaps I just underestimated how good this Evil Eye is, and I just kind of overlooked these changes. But Lich historically is a very good pub hero, and yeah, honestly, 53%, this is going to be one of the better 5s for the patch. For average brackets. Okay, next up we have Dazzle. Got some really nice quality of life changes. They did nerf Locket, which hurts the healing version of this hero a little bit, because that was kind of a nice item to buy. But honestly, having a flat 900 cast range on a Grave is so nice. On top of that, it's a 4-second duration now at level 1 instead of 3.5, which actually does matter. The healing amplification per level increase as well. I mean, this matters a lot, guys. This extra 1%, it adds up because it's per 10% missing health. So if someone's 1 health, that's just an extra, what, 10% healing? I mean, that matters. it will frequently make the difference. And so yeah, this hero is quite a bit better as like a save hero. Someone played it offlane against me today, which seemed okay as well. It seemed all right, but I think it's more of a support with Nothal Boon. Next up is Marcy, who got some stat buffs. Then we have Troll. He also got some number changes. Spectre, also same thing, kind of some number changes. And I would say a lot of these like lower percent win rate increases are just number changes. Like DP, her Q got buffed. Pango, his W got buffed a little bit, or the Facet on double jump. Void Spirit is actually a hero I saw a lot more in my pubs, and so you kind of assume that the changes were probably a bit more significant than they are, because, I mean, I've been seeing it a lot for whatever reason. 2 agility, which is actually quite nice. 1 damage. His Q got a little bit of damage. His E got damage. He just got, like, kind of a lot of buffs. They did nerf some of his talents. I guess that's in a way to, like, balance this out a little bit, but honestly, like, you just take mana regen, and you probably take the other 15 talent anyway. That's a bit of a tough one. Yeah, Resonant Pulse Barrier seems pretty good, especially with your ag. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly feel like Void Spirit maybe is a little bit better than this increase. I thought he was. Some other interesting ones. I thought Oracle would go much more up in win rate. I do think that this is going to be one of the better 5s for average pubs. He's at 53% win rate. He's, you know, been pretty high for a while now. And the reason why is this hero's mid game is very good. What they gave him this patch is a bit of attack range, but more importantly, they gave him cast range on Fate's Edict, and they also made it where you literally say what the rune is going to be. Previously, you would say where it was, but you wouldn't say what it was. And this actually matters a lot because it will frequently determine, like, you know, should we bother contesting? If it's some shitty Invis rune, like, maybe you don't need to go there. If it's going to be a haste rune or some, you know, arcane for a storm, you really should contest it and all in it. So a little bit of attack range. This cast range, although it's worse at max, is so nice when it's level 1 in the early game. You can save people way earlier. Like, I mean, 200 cast range is insanely high. So it just lets you save people far more reliably from magic nukes in the early game. And now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I do just want to briefly show you guys what are the highest winner heroes in the game, disregarding their win rate changes, so you kind of have a general gist of what the meta will look like, because yeah, these numbers are generally pretty accurate for what people should be playing. Number 1 is Wraith King, who I actually thought would be totally fine. He did drop 2% win rate, but he's still at a nasty 55% win rate. So if you're, you know, anywhere from 0 to 5k MMR, 0 to 7k MMR, I would even say, this is just going to be a really solid hero for gaining rank. Arguably the best carry for gaining rank. On win rate, it is. Then we have Axe, one of the most buffed heroes of the patch. We covered that. Then we have Legion, same thing. Venge, already a good hero. Just got buffed, so she was already solid, buffed, very, very strong offlaner in my opinion. I think Ag's Venge is going to be hyper underrated by a lot of people, and I think it's nasty. I think this hero is very, very good. Meepo, honestly, I don't understand, but I hate seeing him at number 5 is just nasty. Ugh. Spectre, the number changes apparently were enough. He got quite a few number changes, and yeah. Jug, I actually thought he was kind of getting nerfed. Apparently he got buffed, so Jug, Spectre, Wraith King are top 3 carries based on win rate. Shaman, win rate increase. He was already one of the higher percent win rate heroes of the patch. Massive Serpent Ward, I think it's just great. I'm not surprised by this win rate increase. I expect this hero to continue to be picked in the pro scene, but with massive Serpent Ward more often, because it gives you a bonus 20% damage on Serpent Ward, which is a ton. This ability already hits really hard. Sure, you lose the ability to trap people, which actually does suck. Serpent Ward trapping is really practical, honestly, and not that hard to do at all. So you kind of lose out on that, but let me tell you, 20% damage increase, and I would argue more importantly, is the fact that you can't kill it all. Like, when normal Serpent Wards is placed, you kind of kill them bit by bit, right? Just bit by bit. You'll kill 1, you'll kill 2, you kill 3, you weaken it. But this massive Serpent Ward, you can't poke it, right? As like a support, it hits you once, it does like 40 billion damage. And hitting it twice doesn't do anything. And so it's actually, I think it's very good. It's very good for sieging, it's very good for killing. I expect a lot of pros to try this out. I'm definitely gonna try it out. Okay, Undying, kind of talked about that one, but yeah, I mean, I've been suggesting this hero. I think it's a good sup, good core, kind of both. Witch Doctor just got some buffs. Classically good pub hero. They just made it where his Q is better now overall. It got nerfed in bounces, but it's just better overall. Visage, this one I genuinely don't understand. Oracle we talked about. So he's like up there. What is that? Top 10, top 11, top 12. Necro, honestly, with the Radiance nerfs, I thought maybe this hero would fall off a bit, but apparently not. Lich, as we mentioned, going to be one of the better supports. Centaur with the W buff. Veno up there, historically good pub hero. Funny enough, he was at 48.9. I guess also people not jungling probably increased the win rate, which is funny. I mean, I genuinely think jungle Veno was conceptually broken, but like, unfortunately, it's like, no, you're jungling Veno. I'm buying a Midas. I'm running it down. You're not trying to win. Then we have Disruptor. Oh, okay. I think I'll end the video on this, and then I'll in tomorrow's video, we're going to cover some very fun builds. But on the video on this, I think Disruptor is going to be very potent this patch, primarily because of this change. It's actually more significant than you might realize. Now increases slow duration from 0.4 to 0.8. Let me tell you guys, that is a big number for 100% movement speed, attack speed slow. Yeah, you heard that right. This ability is an 100% movement speed and attack speed slow. So you could put it on a carry hero and it will actually reduce their damage output significantly. So when I put it on a hero like Chen, you'll see when it ticks on him, he really can't move, and it's for a long time, right? It's also 4 pulses. So it's 0.8 times 4. That is a 3.2 second movement speed, but I would argue more importantly, attack speed slow, and it provides vision. So in the laning stage, right, let's say you're playing around the tree line, you can be really annoying because, right, if I put the Q on the Chen and then I fog, he can't see me right now, but I can see him and I can actually hit him. And even if he does fight me back, right, that attack speed slow is really, really annoying, right? You'll see that he's just going to lose an auto attack every now and then. So I'm going to get the edge, right? I just kind of got an extra auto attack on him there. And so it really makes the difference. This ability is straight up insane. Also, what you do is you buy your shard, right? So you buy your shard, and then the shard increases the strikes to 5, and you take your 10 talent, and this, I mean, this shit is just insane. The 10 talent increases the damage per strike, and it's 15 damage per strike per subsequent strike. So the first one is plus 15, then plus 30, then plus 45. Like, it stacks on top of itself. So you'll see, I'll give this guy a bit of health so it's a bit more realistic, right? Let's say the Chen is like a reasonable mid-game Chen. You'll see that this Q just chunks. And by the way, it lasts so long because of the 5th strike that it's basically back up again. And so 2 Qs is about 1,000 damage. 1,000 damage, right? Pretty insane how hard you can poke. And so, like, in many circumstances, if you catch out a support alone, this is what it looks like. Sorry that I'm ranting on it. I should probably just make a separate video on this. But, right, let's say I'm going on someone like this. I now glimpse, which is going to deal damage. And then you're putting them in your ult. And then your Q is back up. And so you can solo kill most subs. I don't know. To me, this slow, and you could do that last patch, just to be clear. What I just showed you was something you could do last patch. So that's not like some entirely new thing. But really the big thing is that this hero's early game and laning and tracking is way better, right? It's just way, way better because of the slow. On top of that, glimpsing people when they get slowed for double the duration is a lot easier. Let me tell you, it's a lot easier to find good glimpses on people now. So yeah, I think this hero is way, way better. Expect to see a lot of it. But okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot and enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.